So if you do marketing for care homes to get them more inquiries, you're going to love this. This is a relatively new addition to the Google Ads dashboard, a new metric that shows you how well a headline is doing on your Google Ads. What this metric is the click-through rate. So it's a new metric that has been rolled out throughout Google Ads generally. But again, if you do Google Ads specifically for care homes to help them get more inquiries, what you will now be able to do is find out which of those headlines on those Google Ads, whether they are human generated or suggested by Google's own algorithms, the machine learning and AI element, you can now go and look and see which of those headlines have performed best according to different ad campaigns. So what I'm going to show you now on this video is what you can specifically see. Now here, okay, this is a real life Google Ads dashboard for a care home. These are Google Ads, yeah, and these are ads in order to help get your care homes, usually, that's the aim, more inquiries. Now, when you're running Google Ads, there are many methods and characteristics of your ads that may make certain ads perform better than other ads. And there are, of course, many ways that you can assess that on the Google Ads dashboard. But just for absolute clarity, this headline is, you can see where my cursor is the most important elements of your Google ad. And again, if I just scroll down, if I can do that, yes, you can see here, this is just a sample of different headlines on various ads for this particular care home. So again, if I go deeper into the dashboard, which I'm now going to do, and you can see where my cursor is, here are all the various ads. I've just done this over the last 30 days. Why? Because actually the metrics that I want to show you on the click-through rate, you can see here, it's relatively new, so you can't get data and metrics from, let's say, 1 year ago. New, and so what I'm showing you now is actually the latest metrics that are coming out and important for you, as I say, if you're running ads for care homes. And as you can see here, if you don't have familiarity with Google Ads dashboard, here's a number of different ads within campaigns. What I'm going to do here is going to go to, you see where I am, view asset details, and again, asset type, and just specifically focus on the headline. I remember in the previous, previously I showed you the ads, and these are the ads, and I'm going to make sure that we've got click-through rate from highest to lowest. And what you can now start to see is that, again, it's still elementary data, but as I said, this is what you can now start to look at when you are doing that ongoing optimization of your ads to make them perform best. Because you're now getting indications as to what are the best performing headlines. And you can see here, here we just have one impression, one click that's giving you 100% click-through rate. The CTR is click-through rate. What that means is, of course, if someone's seeing that ad on which that headline is, the rate at which they click through is a percentage term, as these numbers are here. And you can see that top rated care homes 13.46%, enriching activities 13.33, 13.16. This has got a catchment area, so I just want to stay away from the catchment areas ones. I just want to look at the more general headlines. Here we have a 12.5% click rate for exceptionally elderly care. So, and then the less performing, in fact, you have, if I go here, this is 1 in 10 of 19. So if I go here, you have headlines that are performing less well. If I go back here again, you can see those headlines that are performing better. So it starts to give you ammunition to think about for your ads, is to maybe you can start to have campaigns purely based on top performing headlines, for example. It may mean that when you are adding manually headline options into your Google Ads campaigns, you can start to overload those headlines with what have previously been best performing. Those are just ways that you can start to think about it now. And if I go to another ads group of ads, here you can see here again on click-through rates, the best performing headlines are these here. So again, what you have got is you're just being given data. You're being given information that's based not on what you and I may believe may be the best performing headlines, but what is proving to be the best performing headlines. And what also it means that you can start to think about is adding other headlines to see how they fare against top performing headlines. So there's a multitude of ways that you can start to think about the power of headlines, purely and only headlines. So we haven't even got to descriptions yet, but purely only on headlines as one of the key drivers to attract the attention of a family who's looking online for a care home in their catchment area. They're looking for, for a care home because usually they are searching, they're looking around. So that's where these ads, of course, come into play. And, again, do it properly, you just guaranteed will get more inquiries this way. So another way that it starts to, that it should encourage you to start to think when running these ads, is that so often in my associations with people who are running Google Ads, they have a lot of technical skills, they know their way around the dashboards, and that's all great. But when you have now got this metric that's telling you how well headlines are performing, it can start to make you think much more as like a marketer. So the psychology of that person who's looking for a care home, what headlines will grab their attention, will make your ad stand out more than not only other ads on that page, but also the organic listings. Because in effect, that's what your ads are competing against. So even more reason to think like a marketer and to think, okay, so I have got to have words in those headlines that really not only catch the eye of that person, that family member looking for a care home, but also makes them make that all-important click. Or if you have a call-only campaign, a telephone call. But that's the action, that's the first action you always want them to make, because it's only after they've done that action, of course, you have a chance of you getting noticed and getting that inquiry. So let's, while we're looking at it, let's just do one more. I've done a set of 2 campaigns, and now I'm going to go to a third one here, and again. But you can see the click-through rates are anywhere from, so we've got this award-winning care team at, a very noticeable 10%. And then you've got other headlines that, are significantly lower. So what you've got here is headlines. Again, I do make a caveat that this is after just initial data. Once you have much more data, you're able to make the data will be more accurate. But you've got click-through rates are effectively double. One headline has got a click-through rate that's double another. So that's a huge difference. But again, and what you can start to do is kind of think, well, why is it these particular headlines are performing well? But of course, the value that you have with this click-through rate on the headline is that it's real live data, it's not like speculation. So, this is, I think, will be something that's ever increasingly important for those doing digital marketing for care homes. to particularly look at that click-through rate consistently as part of their ever ongoing and improving optimization. So yeah, keep an eye out on that. So I hope you found this useful. I'm Adam of Springup PR. We help care homes get more inquiries faster about PR and digital marketing. And if you like this video, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss any more like it.